All right, welcome to the program. My name is Abman Kota, and you are watching the Tpn TV and radio network coming to you live from the United States of America. Today, we get two topics where we get for discuss. One of the topics get for do with a guest where they can talk to we about your experience on. As we now remember, one of the obligations now this program will get now for make sure say. To sim business way don't cause a lot of headache for the diaspora. We continue for discuss about that to sim them. So today we bring somebody who actually a direct victim of the to sim, and it can tell we waiting on your experience. We get Mr. Alpha Kuroma from New York, we been go na abo a go contest for the parliamentary election abo under the SLPP party, and unfortunately, because of the two sim, then get for disqualify him. And so Mr. Kuroma, they can't tell we about that. Then after that, we'll get for talk about the other way the government don't give for say every government officials, the main government officials, the former government officials, therefore declare their assets by Monday, when at the 11th of this month, the commission don't order for say every former government official for declare the assets by the 11th of November, that is on Monday. So now then two topics I will get for talk about, but let's start with we guess for today Mr. Alpha Kuroma. He talked away from New York. Mr. Kuroma, thank you very much for coming on the program for talk to me.
Yes, thank you. How you do?
So I do well. Yeah, we did do well. I just want for ask you for making you a little brief biography of yourself. What are you? What did you do? And before we go from there.
Okay. Actually, I raised in a small village called Pelewan Gable in about my chiefdom about district. That's now labeled as constituency 82082. So I don't come to New York quite some time by way of Liberia. So I'm a private business person also. Sometimes I do consultancy with other people that wanted to do the same business with me. I'm resident in Syracuse, Central New York. From there on, for over the last 30 years, I go in and out of Australia, maybe sometimes 2 or 3 times. Before the war, even after the war. So my key interest was really politics, and I belong go for go. It puts my hand in terms of national development, and I see that as one way to really engage in national development. So I've been denied. I was denied that privilege on couple of occasions. I actually go for election. I've been contested, but I haven't been win. So this time around, I was successful somehow, only to be denied by these to seem regulations. So I'm really glad you hadn't come join with us, because this is something I really not. It's a burning issue for diaspora.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I'm part of this discussion today.
All right. Thank you very much for that. You were able to explain exactly what happened with your candidacy?
Well, before I will talk about my candidacy, I will talk about diaspora in general. Because sometimes, some people then have back home, they think that we are not contributing to national development. Some people really feel that. But then also, to me, diaspora also we have 2 types of diasporas. There are some people who have lived in the U.S. or elsewhere outside Sierra Leone who have no intention for going back to that country. And for the most part, they really don't care what goes on, and they're not even affiliated somewhere, anything associated with Sierra Leone. But there's also another diaspora like me, who's really, somehow connected to that country deeply. In other words, when I see myself as somebody who is connected, even though despite my being here for all of these years, I can be able to live decently and live happily until, God calls me. But the thing is, we all see how developed these nations are. We don't live now, we don't experience some very good quality of life. We want to wonder why my fellow man not get the same kind of aspirations with this country they offer us. So yes, based on these things, really, based on this fact that I really get into having to go back to Sierra Leone to see what I can do, the knowledge, the resources I have to transfer it over there. So that's what got me to this. So among those people, me, I get special interest because I really feel that I'm somewhat connected to Sierra Leone. And I really feel deeply at heart that Sierra Leone is nowhere even closer to a country like the United States. And I know for a fact that so many things are going on wrong. Somehow we in diaspora can contribute a meaningful contribution for change that society. Believe me, and I really deeply believe that. So it was based on that for me, politics is one option, business is another. But I don't want me to be subjected to any rules and regulations that can stop my aspiration for whatever I have to do for Sierra Leone. And politics being another area I wanted to explore, I felt that I was, that particular law became an impediment to my aspirations. And being as long as I've lived in the United States, the name calling, they still identify me as non-Sierra Leone, and here I go back home, and then I'm met again with this kind of rejection from my own country, political reasons. So this is what got me into this. When I went, before I went down there, in my village, I made roads, just way back. I have made a meaningful investment in my hometown. And if you go there in Beaumont Chipman, the name Alpha Corona is well known. Let alone go down to my village. I am now a leader by default because of my activities in my village. I'm now a leader. Everybody look up to me. Just to give you an example, my nephew died yesterday, this morning. By the time he vomited with blood before they could take him to the hospital, I was the first person to call. And besides that, I've also brought in other people from that village into the United States, about 8 of them. Some of them have gone through undergrad, some of them have pursued graduate studies. Those people with me together were all making a meaningful contribution to that country because I want to impress upon them that they came from Sierra Leone. So this is, but as you go, you get involved, making swamp, making farm, putting people together, making market credit for these communities. I get deeply involved. So these people motivated me to really get into politics. And I took it up for myself. I went through the process. For the most part, believe me, I am seeing this based on past experience. But only very few surrounding MPs really care for their constituencies. And Bo was a good example because of all the candidates who contested in Bo, none of them was returned. All of them were voted out.
You mean we come up from the diaspora?
No, all those who were the incumbents in both districts, they were all voted out.
Okay.
None of them, with the exception of the one who contested with me, who became the benefactor of that two-scene regulations. So that was the only way he was able to go back. Otherwise, none of them was going to return. I have seen this, when I go and talk with the people, just to give you an example, I was going to campaign. I reached out to every village in that, every section, every town chief shook my hand, including section chiefs, the department chief, the speaker, or everyone that matters. But I didn't see that from most of my counterparts. But to me, this is retail politics. If I really want to help the people, I need to go down the ground and really understand the problem. Though I have been out there, making investments, and some of them didn't come and go because, again, I was involved in two areas in terms of my investment. I was involved in Jalon Sheguma. Sheguma, I went there and set up a microcredit for the community themselves. I set up with 5,000 I gave it to them. That money, they were taking it and using it as a credit among themselves. And then reinvesting. When we started from 5,000, we went as high as 280 million euros before this Ebola struck. So, based on that, all that motivation, in fact, them too, they fear that I could be their leader. Really, I went through the whole 13 sections in Jan They were really, really impressed by my presentation and how I galvanized them to come together to really make their life different or make a difference in their life. For example, typical question is asking. I asked an old man, I said, how long have you been eating rice? He would tell me, oh, I've been eating rice for about the whole of my life. But how many bags? So if you were to buy that bag of rice from your neighbor or someone from this village, you don't think that person will become a rich person? So our idea was put these things together and give loan to somebody for sell onion. Every community member in that location must buy that onion because it was our business. It was that person's business we were sponsoring. So go on.
So let me go back to the two SIM business. I dey see you now one of the victims of the two SIMs. I don't see other people there back. This it cuts across political parties. Every member of the diaspora wey na to SIM wey want for go serve young people, especially in the capacity of parliamentary, ministerial, and presidency is affected. What do you think say na in we as the diaspora supposed to do?
Well, we cannot lose hope. I still believe that the SLPP government, there's a promise that this law will be done away with. Equally on the other side, the APC side too, I think they made a commitment. So unfortunately, since the government came into existence, as if I can recall, KKY, Mr. Yomkela and Honorable Wiata tried to introduce the bill. I don't know, they never made a headway. But there are some of these MPs were in forums with them, in different forums. And they are very quick to point out that the Constitution provides that we cannot, or two seats cannot, is not qualified to be a candidate. Because it's a dishonest nation, and because the fact that you cannot have allegiance to another country and you want to become a member of parliament here. But that to me is not really relevant because in the first place, we have a constitution and majority of those who are now in power, majority of them, they are not being truthful to us. So what about me now? I'm living here overseas to go and have a desire to really make an impact on that country. So what we need to do is this. We cannot relax. Rather than taking on individual basis as one of the reasons why I really want we in diaspora to make this an important issue to confront our political leaders. Because even though Parliament may not approve it, because I know that's human instincts. This is their own bread and butter. That's the way most of them see it. But this is there's power in there. So we have to look forward to that. That's a tool that we have.
So the problem
in the Constitution.
The problem here is just like rightly what you said. The problem here is the people who get for vote for this thing, they are actually the beneficiaries.
That's right.
So waiting, is there any other way we will be able to force this for make them pull this? Because yes, we know say we get we get three branches of government, and the legislative part is just one. We get another two. Don't you think if we see say yes the parliamentarians then they drag them foot, how about going the route of the judiciary?
Well, if the Constitution provides for that, that is an option we all can explore. And this is the reason why we need to hang it together. Irrespective of our political differences, we have to come together for the greater good of diaspora.
Yeah.
Because we are, I feel that we have a feeling for that nation. We're not coming, look at, to give you an example, I now live in a house in that country where there's no electricity. But you know what I did? I improvised for myself by having a solar system. Where I live, there's no water system. I improvised for myself by having a pump and at the same time having a filtration that can drink a clean water. Mosquitoes around. So these are examples how we can quality of life we can change for ourselves. The average person will not even have exposure to these things living in that country. When I come and being part of that community, I have employed now 2 key people in my operations that they also benefit from me. So we are contributing so much to that country that it's not going to be, this is going to be like a lot of aspiration. We need to have a real force to reckon with to make sure that we impress upon our politicians, the leadership in that country, to make sure that these laws are changed. This law is discriminatory. It's not only discriminatory for we as Sierra Leoneans, but it's also an impediment to national development. You know what do you learn from living in a country like America even for a year or two? And the experience, we can take that experience going back home and nothing to stop you to just do whatever you want to do. So if we can now get together and put our acts together as diaspora, I'm afraid the worst may come. But worst case scenario, we may not succeed. But I'm really hopeful. This could be the beginning of a dialogue among ourselves, SLPP, APC, NGC, for all to put hands on deck to make sure that we do something for the greater good of diaspora. We still contributing to this system. So I don't see why we should be excluded from it. I don't think that's fair. And in the Constitution, and maybe that Constitution, yes, but Constitution is subject to change. Amendment is that's why it's there for. And by amending that Constitution, if you have to say, okay, we have to amend that Constitution to make sure that we make provision for everybody.
But the point here is we cannot amend the Constitution if we in the diaspora do not lead the way, because at the end of the day, since the elections, a lot of people, including you, have not come up and said, okay, guys, what do we want to say? What do we want to do in order to force these people to amend this Constitution? And that is the reason why it is important for us to start organizing ourselves.
Well, you bet. That is one of my objectives. I'm trying to go back to the country. I'm going to be resident in Sierra Leone probably December, January. This year I made one of the biggest farms in my area. Rice, maize, beans, cassava in my area. And I also bought 3 different machines, mini machines. I put it up already in my village. So I am going to be there. And I have other options, many other development projects that I have in hand. I have a lot of distributors in New York, retailers in New York that have been there for many, many years. They are all committed to me. All I need now is to get something made in Australia and bring it into New York. And I know we can do it. So I'm going to spend a little bit of my time on that. But beside that, I'm also going to have involved in the diasporas on the ground to make sure we all come together. I'm really going to allocate my time to doing that because I don't think this is fair to Sierra Leone. There should be nothing to block our aspiration as citizens of that country. The passport we get, yes, we have other citizenship, but I use that citizenship to travel all over the world. I was just this year, I was in Korea. When I went to South Korea, I wasn't asked for anything. I went to Japan, I wasn't asked for anything other than having the U.S. passport. So this kind of privilege we need it. We can go anywhere without anyone to hinder our aspirations. So I think when you look at it in national context, it's a plus for the Republic of Sierra Leone. But we need to galvanize support. Forget about you being APC. Forget about you being SLPD. Forget about being any member of any political organization. We need to put hands on that together and look for the greater goal of diaspora. This is the time. President Bill and his cabinet members, majority of them, we are saying that to us. So if they have to live up to our expectation, to their promises, then it's the time for us to move. I don't know when we can get this kind of opportunity. For me, it's an opportune time because why? We're seeing it. All of these years that was going on, it wasn't applying. Loosely, everybody was joining in to go there and contest and become an MP. But now that it's become evident, it's become incumbent upon all of us to put hands on it to make sure that we achieve our goal. We have to be citizens in that country. We are citizens in that country, and we want our government to recognize it. Citizenship means citizenship. It doesn't exclude anything. We cannot be a citizen because we have economic potential, but yet we cannot engage in political activities.
One of the problems with the law is our children here in the diaspora.
That's another thing I really don't like about it. I have my daughter in this country. So you know that technically anyone born in this country can have an American passport and go to Sierra Leone and become a president.
Yeah, exactly.
Because why? They are Sierra Leonean. They didn't pledge allegiance to the United States government. So what kind of rationale that is?
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, absolutely not. You didn't discriminate against my daughter. You can give her that privilege to go out and to become president of that nation. But me, who was born there, from my great-grandfather, all of them born in Sierra Leone, they cannot. I cannot become a leader in that country.
So, Mr. Koma, this is very, very interesting. You think, say, based on this alone, maybe we stand a chance for going to court and say, you know what, hey, una look, we begin a whole born America, we then get dual citizenship, then they come, then qualify for being president of this country. We were born them, when are we born? Just because we take dual citizenship, the same dual citizenship, now nothing will not qualify. So, you know, things say the court, they look at that and say, you know what, maybe it makes sense. Is it some way we go try with the courts? Because the people they're waiting in the parliament are not saying they're actually willing for change this law.
This is really a discrimination law. That's discrimination, outright. You cannot give me a privilege to my offsprings, and you cannot offer me that same privilege. What makes my offspring a citizen of a nation that I cannot become a citizen of that nation? It doesn't make sense, as he rightly says.
Yeah. Anyway,
I mean, I can understand. You know, so that's the goal here, or the overall issue here is we have to impress upon our politicians. I think we've been laying back for too long. Yeah. They come in during the campaign time and solicit funds from us, solicit our help, solicit everything they can do, and give us bullcrap excuses. At the end of it all, it just falls on the wayside. So it's not time for us to take action. And we have to do it's a collective responsibility. So knowing this as a fact, I'm asking every diaspora. First, we created just another. This give a very good example. When this whole process was going on, everybody came to me. Okay, you know what? You lost this election based on that. You're disqualified from this election because of this provision. But when this government comes into play, we are going to help you to do this, to do that, to do that. Yeah. So many promises, but none of us realize
that. Yeah, we hear a lot of that.
You see? So if they cannot fulfill those promises, and there has been the track record from time immemorial, when campaign opens, we have here a whole as a region, we contribute so much to that system. Yet the system cannot recognize me as a citizen absolutely only by the child are born that can become a citizen of that nation. I think that's a plain discrimination.
So let's start with organizing ourselves here, which some of we did try for work behind the scene and try for see how we go able to organize ourselves. When we don't organize ourselves, then we consult legal-minded people within the diaspora and maybe even in Sierra Leone, and then we will go from there. I think the best way that one we're supposed to do. I get some people on the line where want for ask you question. Let's start with Mr. Kabo. Mr. Kabo na a commentator na this media. So Mr. Kabo, you get any question for Mr. Kuruma? Alpha Kuruma.
Yes, Mr. Kuruma, how are you? I'm glad to meet you. You're from Syracuse. This is Kabo from New York. I live in Queens of New York.
Thank you.
Yeah, I share some sympathy with you based on what you've explained regarding the Tutsi, and I also applaud you for the greatest, one of the greatest achievements you've made in helping people come into America and helping your constituency or your village. But my concern is, if you have done so much for your people without being a politician in Sierra Leone. And if you be a politician in Sierra Leone or representing them, do you think you will do as much as you have done today? If you become a flag bearer there, I mean, you have a symbol and contested and win as a member of parliament, do you think the role you are playing today, you will be able to play it anymore? And that's one question I want you. I know it's going to be yes or no, but I want you to explain on that.
Ask the other question.
And the second one is,
Mr. Kabo.
Oh, okay, all right. Go ahead.
Let you go ahead and answer. Then you ask the other question. Go ahead, Mr. Kuruma.
Okay, thank you for the question. There are two factors here. My aspiration should not be blocked by any means. That's one thing. It's a right embedded into human being, to me as a human being. I can do it either or both or all together, and I'm doing it. I've helped build a school in a village. I built a road from Jembe, and I'm saying this loud and clear. There are people listening nationwide. I, Alpha Chroma, built the road from Jembe to Plewan Gable. I did. I have brought students from people from Plewan Gable into the United States to be educated, and they are contributing to the development of Plewan Gable. Added to that, in my village, I provide scholarships to students. It doesn't matter who you are, as long as you are from Plewan Gable. I give a scholarship regardless of your last name. This year, in fact, I was so proud that we got the first female from that same school I went, that I gave a 1 year full scholarship to a female student that was accepted in our university system. I did. So it's not only stopping to that though. There's another one within the chiefdom that is not even from my village. That this way I look at this person was so good. Academically, he didn't have money. So what I did was, I gave him money to buy a farm. This year he graduated. I paid his way to college. I found a place for him to live. I'm serious about this. So because I love my people, this is what I'm doing all of this. That is one thing I will continue to do regardless of my status, as long as I have the resources. And mine going in January is really now I'm putting the road in place to take something from my community and bring it to the United States and find a way how we can bridge that gap. But despite all that, if my aspirations call for being an MP or a leader of that nation, I should see no law to stop me from doing that. So it's not just about Alpha Kuruma, but it's just what is right for every Sierra Leonean who was born in that country. So to me, it's an impediment. And you know, the source of that legislation probably came in from Sheikh Hasina era. But you know, I remember growing up as a little boy. If I reflect on that, I don't know what brought all about this, but the only thing I can really assume was that it was a way for Sheikh Hasina to get rid of some people who he didn't want to be part of that system. But that was not his fault because we saw him all over Africa. This is how the Soviet Union was run. This is how they were able to check the population in check. That system, we have done away with it. Let's come to modern day reality.
All right. Go to the next question.
So that's where I see. What's your question?
No, Mr. Kabo, go to the next question. Mr. Kabo, you mute.
Yeah, my next question is I don't know. I'm trying to figure out actually to bring a lot of questions on what I think will benefit you and the people of Sierra Leone and your own people not to lose at all, and your influence still stays. Have you ever tried to support, or do you have in mind of supporting any candidate based on the influence you have? And we all know when you have the means as you have it now, if you are one way or the other, yeah, you can support the list, and yet you will be the dictator to that candidate because you will tell Mr. Cabo to be done. Right,
Mr. Cabo, let's all go for the best case scenario. But if that doesn't happen, I'm not going to be sidelined with in that election. I will not be sidelined. If it requires my own personal resources to be at the disposal of the candidate of my choice, I will do it. And I will. I will take part in that election 2023, be it as a candidate or non-candidate. So that's evident. Because that's my aspiration. I want to make sure that I have a say in my community. If I have the MP that has on the same wavelength with me, I can help him to direct him how to pursue development in my constituency. I will pursue him to knowing what he has to do for national good. Most of these guys come into politics, they don't have even a role model who can even develop or can even point it to where direction they need to go. We just see it as an opportunity for a job. Majority of them see it that way.
Okay. All right, let's go to Mr.
That's it.
Okay, Mr. Kabo, quickly.
Myself?
Oh no. You don't know, right, Mr. Kabo?
Well, yeah, really, but I think this is a very important topic, especially for this guy. I wish I could engage in one-to-one, and we'll see how we can go. But for the benefit of the other people, go ahead, please.
All right, Mr. Abdul, you get any question for our guest, Mr. Alpha Koroma? I know, so you can't late.
Well, yeah, since I can't, I don't know which is in the trouble, but I recall a village named Pelewan. Is it Pelewan, Mr. Kabo? Sorry, I don't know. What's the last name again? Mr. Kroma. Sorry, not Kroma. I apologize. I know a Pelewan in Mendeline just after Bo. Is that the Pelewan where a prominent APC man at one time, uneducated but was in parliament, A.B. Tomboyeke? Is that the Pelewan you referring to?
Yes, A.B. Tomboyeke. Yeah, Abu Bakar Chief A.B. Tomboyeke. Yeah, he was once in the MP down there. He was man of the people.
Yes. Yeah, and you said now you make the road from where to where?
From Jembe. After the war, from Jembe to Peoria.
Okay. And are you resided in the United States? Residing in
Yeah, I'm resident in the U.S., but I'm there every year. I'm in that village every year. I'm resident in Bo, and at the same time, every activity that goes on, whether it's NRA going there to knock their door, I'm part of it. Whether they are electing a chief, I'm part of it. A former chief, a second chief, a current chief, I'm part of it. Every activity, whether it's a school in my community, I'm part of it. America, I'm part of it.
Okay, no, I just know I know the village. I've spent 2 days there. When A.B. Tomboyeke died, I was in that funeral when the Mberam and the Fortune. That's where they are. I don't know much about the village, so I'm not going to hold you. And also, I've met your current MP, who happens to be the chairman in Parliament for Roads Authority in Sierra Leone. So, very young fellow. So, I don't know if you know him, but we'll love to wait and see 2023 wake up. And you say you're in the U.S., right? You live in America? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'll be in Sierra Leone. I'm there all the time. I'm going to be down there probably. I'm going to be there for a while, for some time.
Don't give me all that information. What part of the United States you are located? What state?
In Syracuse, Central New York.
Okay, in Syracuse, New York. Okay, that's all I have, Mr. Mankota. Well, I wish you good luck, sir, and I listen to you, what you don't do, even within your family alone, and especially when it comes to education. Me, I'm not educated, but I can read and write. So when somebody talks about education, which you don't do for people away who are not even blood related to you, but as long as it's about education, I mean, let God reward you, sir, which you don't do, because now then people and any society will need, because for I mean, we're all, especially waiting at the Western world now, for know the value of education. So for let you say,
Exactly.
so people who are not related to you, that's a very good thing, you know. You don't,
And there are some people from that village around here now. I have a nephew going to this school. There are some of them, but let's forget about that for now. But the key to development is, like rightly the president said, is education. If you are educated, in Liberia we saw that in Ebola time. If you can read an article and can read it between read and right, between left and right, and you are educated, and they tell you this is what you should do and this is what you cannot do, the number of people we lost in Liberia may not have been what it happened, well, as it happened. So education is a key to development. If you want to look for a job today, even in the United States, they're going to ask you what's your profession. It's only through education you're going to have a profession. If you don't have a profession, how are you going to contribute to your own well-being? So once you change yourself, you can change a nation.
no, Mr. Kuma, you are quite right. My different take on that, education is good just in general. But in terms of governance and in terms of ruling a country, me now one of the people that really against, I'm sorry to say it on a national radio like this, against the idea of say this person must have come from an Ivy League institution to be able to rule a country. Now you and I may be different in age. But if we go back, those of us where they right now, including Mankota, Kagbo, or wherever the other commentators listen, I think there are remember the days of Sheka Stevens,
Okay.
Let me address that.
Finish,
Okay.
Mr. Kuruma. Please.
Not you. Yeah, go ahead.
Not educated, and Momo too was not highly sophisticated. When they came to power, they were able to assemble the best and brightest academically with PhD in Sierra Leone in Parliament. Where at the time in Parliament, the backbencher, the chairman of the backbench association in Parliament was Tebu Bangura, a man with a law degree from London, not Sierra Leone. And the secretary on that time was Dominic Musa, a lawyer too from London, not from Sierra Leone Law School. I mean, but look the mess where the country been in. And those of us who are old enough where they follow politicians them, I remember what Sheka Stevens said na Magboroka. He said, quote, when I say the government stronger, the country stronger, because now the one they want get a government, they don't land book. Well now, I don't work at the country, I don't go bring all my pick the whole land book. I don't go talk to the queen like give me a bass mundu. Sheka Kanu, Abla Conte. I can name 10 of them who were PhD holders, Koto. But the country was in disarray. Some of we to land for West Africa, they speak Namatuka for family who be there to they go school for buy petrol. So education mean a based on another level, not on running a nation. Because you don't have to have a degree.
Well, it's part of the prerequisite, because now you don't have to be, when they say education, you don't have to be a PhD holder. You can even be a bachelor's degree holder. But I agree with you, Mr. Abdul. Education is just part of the way for run a country. Your attitude, your patriotism, and your trustworthiness are all contributory factor for the success of your leadership. So I know say these are all a combination, like a combo, where they encompass your success. I don't know, Mr.
Right.
Kuruma, you want for talk on that a little bit?
Yeah, let me just add something to that. If you know Napoleon Hill, he said, never say knowledge is power. It is not power. Knowledge can be equated to education. And it is. Because by definition, if it's a process that facilitates the learning and the acquisition of knowledge and skills, values, beliefs, habits, these are all an education. When you go to school, even if you're a profession, they tell you ethics within a profession. These are values that requires a common sense to be aware of. Don't steal from people. That's ethics. It's common. Or don't steal from your customers or your clients. So knowledge is a potential power. It's a potential power. Only when you put all of these things together, you put a value to it, ethics to it, and learning and knowledge. Even there will get some PhD. We talk about they get PhD, but then even journal, not no journal they write. We need to see that. They don't express themselves in the academic world. It's just been, or even a graduate, they say I'm a graduate, but some of them even doesn't know how to type. Or can I even type on a computer? Or to save a document on a computer? So knowledge is just a broad statement, but that's certainly not power. That old saying or cliche that knowledge is power, and I agree with it. It's a potential power, depending on what you use it. It is no different from seeds. Really, it's rich in mineral resources. But for God's sake, when I walk into China, I see Shandong province is bringing this housing yard in New York City. 10 billion, and there's no surrounding middleman. Those things were acquired from Duncan Lily. We have it, but we didn't utilize it the right way. Diamonds for over 80 years, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So that's the way I look at education. Potential.
Okay.
By no means it cannot be defined by just saying it's a social structure of knowledge. That's the power. No,
and that brings me to the end of this segment. I want to thank Mr. Alpha Koroma for your wonderful contribution towards this particular problem. Hopefully, we'll get back to you as we try for put things for organize, because we cannot just sit down and just talk. We have to take action. Otherwise, there will be no changes in this law. And I hope the people then way they listen to we, then go able to realize this we all affected by this. So thank you very much for Canada program for can talk to we.
Well, rest assured, when I get into Sierra Leone, count on my support. I'll be there. I'll be a force within whatever group we can form to make sure that we articulate our ideas to the national leaders, to make sure that we have inclusiveness in our constitution. It's our right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that was Mr. Alpha Koroma. He talked to we from New York. Now, one of the victims of the two sims, as Unayariam, where he go, like, based on what he talk, he do very well in constituency, then Lekam, but at the end of the day, then disqualify him because he's a dual citizen. So this it affects people across party lines. So it is important that we all come together and work on that and try to make sure, we take actions. If it calls me for going to court, let's go to court. It doesn't matter. What I want for law we do is, no say, it not going to happen. Test, try it. Let we do them. If we say the entire diaspora and community, and this why we organize, let's say each person $100. All over the world, the one that will get the opportunity, especially in the Western societies, them $100. We put this money together. Okay, what we don't put, I will say, okay, now let's use this money to fight this problem. Then we troop in Sierra Leone. I said, oh God, we go succeed very, very easily. But now we get for take the courage, we get for take the initiative before ever we go able for. Otherwise, this is not going to happen. No. And I tell you now before the election, where some people then say, oh, we trust we politicians, they will lead us them. Then don't say where then come. Then I say, hey, this is not going to happen, because the guy we get for go votes, they go vote against in self-interest. They do them. Now, some of we will be pessimistic on that. We are right. So let's work together. Let's take the initiative. Let's take the action for make we go then. Let we work on this wire. Hopefully, people then go come in and contribute their own idea how we go able go about and try for first this one. We're not going for stop. We're not going for stop because it is about us. This is now directly. When they spend money to the politicians them, where they know they take we serious, they know they respect we. How about spending some money for we serve where they benefit we? Very clean. Now let we go to the next segment where we'll get about 3 more minutes. We'll get about 6 or 8 minutes where I want for me and we commentators and discuss. On Monday, according to the government of Sierra Leone, all the government officials, them, the former government officials, them, are supposed to declare their assets. So the reason we to make the government come with, you know, an escroma being, well, the law being allow an escroma or any government in power for make sure say every government officer declare an asset during the time of an appointment, so they know exactly what you get. Then keep an they do and through the Anti-Corruption Commission. Then keep an the file as a government document. Now, when you left power, they require you for declare your assets again. You know, so that then we're able to compare whether there is some suspicious, you know, wealth way people don't understand how that wealth they come about. I think this now the reason this way the government of Madabio the government officials of APC for make them declare their assets. So I don't know. There are people who now they begin to say this has to do with politics instead of trying for fair corruption. What do you think, my commentators? Then let's start with Mr. Kabo. Mr. Kabo, what do you think about this? We just get it.
Yeah, you've just read or mentioned about the rules and regulations for the law that's attached to this. As you mentioned, when you come into power, you declare your assets. That means what you have at the time before you become this or that. And secondly, when you are leaving, when you leave that power, you're going to declare your assets again to see what you have now as compared to before, and from there they see what you be earning, your money, your salary, or whatever influence you have, and how that could be equated to the present assets you have. But you made a mistake I just want to make a correction when you say the APC regime. I think everybody, be it an APC or whatever, director or whatever, because there are also ministers or honorables, I want to believe, who are in the government that we are not APC. So all those people are going to declare their assets anyway.
I don't make mistake. Yeah. I don't make mistake. It's the APC government officials.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So it doesn't matter whether if you're in an APC government official, now you are required to declare your assets.
All right. Okay. It's not just about APC members. Okay.
Yeah.
Now APC government during the APC regime, whoever held a position of importance. Okay. Now that's correct. Now, it's the law. It's the rule. We just have to abide by that. And we want to see how this happened. I had a conversation which had a problem with me from other media, where a candidate was saying, oh, I had friends. I make friends, and friends help me to build this. Friends give me money to do this. But my question is that I had a concern is that before you were a member of parliament or a minister, you had friends. And you never have a mansion or you never have a BMW car. Now you become a member of parliament or a minister under the umbrella of the people of Sierra Leone. Now you have friends. And these friends, when you travel, they give you this, they give you that. I don't think that is right. Those who have that argument, they have to make sure that that's not the correct thing. Any influence you acquire during the time of your appointment, when you live within that government, is for the people of Sierra Leone. It's not for you.
Well, it's a little bit technically problematic with that kind of notion. But anyway, we'll get for left hand to the Anti-Corruption Commission for making them sort it out.
So I only want to make sure, Mr. Mane, I only want to make sure that those people who go with that narrative, they are completely out of board. No game, it's out of board. Because we all knew, Mankota, you are here, you have friends now. You don't go make a canal or whatever in Sierra Leone. You don't establish any whole village, people's village of your own. You have friends. But all of a sudden, you become, I see this is the relationship what happened when during the past regime, when these honorables or ministers are on duty and they go out abroad, and they go under the name of Sierra Leone, the government sponsor them and everything, and they put their case across. They use Sierra Leone, they go as Sierra Leoneans, they don't go as themselves. They put their case across, and whatever that government gives them belongs to them. And when they come, they keep it. And that's where the problem lies, because you don't go on your own volition.
Okay.
You go under the auspices of the government of Sierra Leone.
Understood.
And even if you make friends there at that time, and that friend promises you millions of dollars, it's not your money. When you are not, put it this way, when you are not a member of parliament or a government official, you don't have those friends. Now you have those friends within the period of your employment. Those friends are Sierra Leone's friends.
All right.
So don't mistake about that. I had an MP arguing on that, on some other, but I wish I could engage that MP. It's just these people are just too much.
Yeah.
Let's see what's going to happen.
Well, let me left hand to the Anti-Corruption Commission. Let them sort that out.
Right.
If this has to do with the the fight for against corruption, I'm 100%, because I know say when the SLPP come under power, they will subjected to the same thing. So I'm okay with that. I don't get no problem with that at all. Let me go to Mr. Abdul. Mr. Abdul, what's in your take?
Oh, me on take Mr. Mankota. It's a little bit different, and I see, and this is not politics, I see a little bit prejudiced and unfairness. But if I want to make sure, like what you say, and I have no reason to doubt you. You say the communique will come out from Kelfala that all those former government officials will serve under the APC. Correct? Am I correct?
Government.
Or APC government, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if that is the case, then I know maybe Anes and others, they have no choice but to report. But if the premise, and it will put politics, will bring fairness into this process, and I know my brother Mr. Kagbo is listening very keenly, then why not start with Mr. Sandy, who for 5 years was Minister of Lands under APC and Eskoroma?
He's
hold on, when Madabio came to power, he reappointed him again as Minister of Lands. And his name, for where Francis be released that list of anti-corrupt commission of inquiry, why his name not been there? So come on, look, gentlemen, don't pull the politics aside on this thing. I mean, some of these things, it has politics written all over it. We live in the most principled country, yet it is flawed. America is not a perfect society too. I mean, them too, they get perfect elections. Things they happen. They're not just as corrupt as we are. And the thing where Mr. Kagbo been they try for talk about, in America, Mr. Kagbo, they call it lobbyists. All these politicians, when they leave office, they don't want to go back, go become teacher them. Where you then in New York, your senator, where, how you call him? The time where Chuck Schumer, they left office, Mr. Kagbo, all the people where he don't help while he was senator, while then they bring the pharmaceutical companies where they come, like all them companies where they can at Congress for modify, for change law them. Any law, anything where can the way Schumer vote for, it is quarry favor indirectly. It's enough now the well of the Senate, he argue. Once Schumer leaves office, check it out. Do a research, even the one they don't left now. Once they leave office, pass your for Mr. Schumer is a board member of AT&T, is a board member of Capital. Why? That is lobbyists. They don't call it corruption. So what did they do?
Yeah, can I come in a little bit with Mr. Can I borrow a little bit of your time on that? I think I made it categorically clear, and in fact, even the Sierra Leone rules and regulations or whatever the Constitution says makes it categorically clear. It didn't say after you left office. They say the time frame of your office. If your friendship, you can build friendship continuing after the time frame of your, let's say you are an APC government official, and in 2018 you guys lost the elections, and you no more a member of parliament, you no more a minister. Now you have the people who have been friends with you after all those you know. Yes, whatever you make. That's why they don't say up to now when you leave office. They say up to the time you hold office. You can go on with your friendship now and build your friendship or lobby whatever you want to after your time of office when you are no more a government official. But this is within the day 1 year appointed up to the other day you left office, and not before you left office or after you left office, but within the time you are in office.
Okay, Mr. Kabo. Okay, like what you man say, let's hope this is a precedent. Let world support him. Said when SLPP back then left na power, then come whoever government will come back na power, they too will be succumb to the old thing. But like I say earlier on, if the aim is for corruption to cut down corruption, because they not go end up, no government no will end corruption. You go minimize them, and that the aim and objective that. Then in the initial stage, don't make people then feel say you are biased. And once you do that, there is a red. Even if there is evidence of truth now to the one they will be they look after, but the moment where SLPP been pulled that list, where they left Sandy out, where Sandy was serving under Anes Koroma, it acts like he's not APC, but you know to SLPP he work for the interest of the country. But there is clear evidence. These are the same people funneling money to the SLPP underneath, making copies in the dark of night when all the staffs are gone to find loopholes to free problem for condemn APC. Yet that person not they on that list. At least let them be put on to me.
Let me wait. I will put them. Yeah, let me wait and see how because until then say under the APC regime, as if Sandy in name not day. Then at the time that one day we will say, well, this has nothing to do with corruption. And the thing about is, I like people the way they set precedents. Because you see, the outcome of a precedent always, it come back and bite you. So, this, let us set that precedent, it good, if not for, genuinely for first corruption. But if an offset precedent, when we come, the power, we go say, then go say, we'll not do this, so, so thing. No, let them set up. Let them set up president. When we come to power, they all will be part of the same president where they set up. You know, what's the today? Now the president that we will set, not so.
Yeah, Mr. Makota, you therefore understand also, you and Mr. Abdu. I don't know if I'm on the one side of the aisle and you are on the other side of the aisle. But where the truth lies is there where it lies. And there are now some critical seats of all these things that we're talking about. Now, I don't know, you mentioned somebody by the name of Sandy, but you get to understand very well that any form of commission or any target of any behavior in the world, you have people who will suffer and you have people who will not suffer, even if they are at the middle of it. That's just the system. I'm not talking. I'm not talking of Sandy. All right, I'm not talking of Sandy in general. But I believe even in the list you are talking about, which I'm not privy to, there are a lot of people who are not in there, who are actually die-hearted APC, who are ministers or who have held by offices of parastatals of higher quality, and but their names are not there. So, citing one person already, I would want to tell you that what I understand and my experience on management and other stuff, I think there are people who are going to suffer, and there are people who are going to be free, no matter what it is. Just like
unfortunately, we don't come to the end of the program. Mr. Ahmed Kanu, I just bring you can because you call in, but the program done. So sorry about that.
It's a let's-comer.
A let's-comer, yeah. So
just say hi, Mr. Kanu. Just say hi to us.
Ahmed Kanu, you get anything you want to say about maybe you follow up about the declaration of assets? We get for take place Monday, the 11th of November, where the government saying the former government officials said they get for do that. Bami insist of the call. Bami, una left. Bami, we just did our wrap up. So next week. Now I don't plug in the call.
No, but Mr. Mankota, you just want to extend this time. Oh. What time now? It's 1 hour we do.
Well, we don't pass 1 hour. Now 1 hour 10 minutes. 9 they go so.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought we used to do 2 hours or 3 hours.
Well,
there are a lot of things going within the week and a lot of problems going around the week. And you know, there are other people who might not make this time because they have to work.
The problem is, platform like YouTube and Facebook. The reason why to make a come back na Facebook, I think they save 1 hour of you broadcast. If you pass 1 hour, you know they save. So now
Mankota, the assets business, you know, say not so true. We are not going to declare them true assets. They are all going to deceive us again.
Well, I know, understand, but
that's another point.
Another point is because most of them actually the assets is under other people their name, right?
Yes. You see,
but that's why the investigation.
Then they go. Let's tell you something. Then they go to the bank them. Then go pay them guy the money they don't keep in a saloon. Then go pay the guy they let them not even say anything. And then keep them back under somebody's name. Then if they go overseas, now the same thing. Then they go keep them under the relatives' name. So that's all baloney.
Yeah.
Let just watch them. Let them take care of the country. That's all.
Well, it makes sense.
I know there are assets that's not going to be all confiscated. There are assets that's going to stand free and they not be. Just like I tell you, other people going to be free for one reason or the other who might not know. And there are assets that's not going to be allocated at all, will not be identified. But they will do as best as possible. But I know the public also has subscribed a lot on getting the information about these assets from other people.
I know say
when they talk about the assets them where the people where they go under the inquiry or na the government officials right now.
No,
the declaration. Declaration.
Former government. I know say fixed assets, some of them is very difficult for hide. But monetary assets, I think say down there is very, very difficult, especially like what Mr. Americano talks so. Some of them actually sometimes they don't push them now other people their name. I wish some of them go pass them to me. Like keep up for them.
No, but they know better.
No, me, I'm able to keep up. Anyone when they listen to them, if you're not APC, you're not better. Pass that money, they like keep them for you. It's safe.
Mankota, they will retrieve a lot of those assets, whether monetary accounts or whatever. Trust me. Not all, but they will get a lot.
Okay. Well, let's wait and see.
I'll tell you.
Let's wait and see. Mr. Abdul, you want to say something? Mr. Abdul, you want to say something?
Often, you know, they actually get where they say go. Then people and they go to the assets.
I mean, you say Bami then at the line. You know they get opportunity, Bami. You say you
I know, Bami, na me own cell phone he call. I tell and say we are almost out. Mr. Abdul, you mute your phone if you dey pan talk, but we want for close the program. Okay. I just want for thank you now all, and I want for thank we guest for today, Mr. Alpha Koroma. Americano, you guys see come, but you late.
Oh yes, well that man na me really make it kind of TPN. I be really wish for they listen to them.
You late, man.
But at the time change, na him bring all this, I forget. But I hope say he did a good job.
Oh yeah. He talk a lot of stuff then. So we just get for bring some of them people then they. So we go motivate the diaspora for let start this day. Let people they know say this now we own interest this, not to politicians their interest. Let we fight our own interest anyway. I just want to thank for kind of the program. I also want to thank we commentators. They're always where they are every single weekend, and they are we discuss about the country. You know, I also want to thank the people then we they listen to we. either na YouTube or na the radio. So thank you very much. We will see you back next week the same time, and I believe say we go do the same place here at the TPN TV and Radio Network. So guys, thank you very much. We will see you back next week.
Thank you. Thank you.